We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Hi, I'm Kurt Angle. I represented the United States in the Olympics in 1996 and won a gold medal. Then I parlayed that into a pro wrestling career. I saw a commercial a few years ago.
Tunnel to Towers Foundation made a promise.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is paying off the mortgages for Gold Star families with young children. I thought, this is really cool. I want to be a part of it. My dad served in the Army for 30 years. We didn't have a lot of money, but he made sure we had what we needed. He set a great example for all of us. But he died in a construction accident my freshman year in high school. When he died, we didn't have any income coming in, and we ended up being forced to move out of our house. I was devastated. So I understand what these families are going through, and to have an organization like Tunnel to Towers come in and pick you up and carry you and give you a home to live in, I think that's just amazing. I'd like to ask you to donate $11 a month to support these efforts by going to t2t.org or calling 1-844-BRAVEST.
The Southern California Thoroughbred Racing Circuit is back at Los Alamitos Racecourse with 9 great days of racing starting on Friday, June 20th. The opening weekend will feature the $100,000 Bertrando Stakes. Plus, the summer meet will include the running of the Los Alamitos Derby on Saturday, June 28th. We'll also have a holiday racing program on Friday, 4th of July. And our on-track handicapping contest will be on Saturday, June 28th. Daytime racing returns to Los Alamitos. Opening day is Friday, June 20th.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. Alrighty, folks. Good morning. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program for this Wednesday. And as you can see, if you're watching us on YouTube at the South Point Streaming Network at YouTube, we're having a little difficulty with the camera work in studio this morning. This is only happening with the in-studio cameras. They're giving us a little bugaboo going on here. So what you're seeing is a picture of me. The still picture will be there while I'm talking. However, we will have your commercials will still be the same. We'll have our handicappers coming in video-wise. They'll be the same. The only thing that won't be the same is me. So I'm sorry. I really do apologize for the fact that you're going to see a frozen screen of me, just a file picture going on there. You can hear me, though, and you can see and hear the handicappers, and that, I believe, is the most important thing anyhow. So we welcome you to the Race Day Show on this kind of a Bugaboo Wednesday, beginning another week of covering the great sport of Kings Las Vegas style. We come to you, of course, from the South Point studios at the South Point Hotel Casino Complex and the South Point Streaming Network at YouTube from Las Vegas, Nevada, your gaming capital. And, of course, all of our other platforms that you can that are still working and that are great, and that includes our websites, racedaylasvegas.com, .vegas, .world, .global. You'll be able to hear us on our websites there, and of course at Sports Talk 1400 AM 107.1 FM here in town is our local radio station here. You'll be listening to us through your radio station with no problem. And that, of course, will be the feed through the websites as well. And, of course, anywhere you get your podcasting. And, of course, on your devices, which, of course, is your iPhone, Android, and Google phones. Just get your apps going. The KSHP app will get you listening to us through the radio station. The YouTube app will get you listening and seeing at least the handicappers and everybody else through the YouTube app on your devices. And, of course, anywhere you get your podcasting. So simply put, however, wherever, whenever, welcome to the Race Day Show for this Wednesday morning as we begin another week covering great sport of Kings. I got to tell you that right now we're in kind of a holding pattern for Southern California racing with Los Alamitos that ended on Sunday. Now we don't have any racing through this week, through this weekend, and all the way up to Friday of next week. 1 week from this coming Friday, we'll be back in business in Southern California at Del Mar. Del Mar opens on Friday, the 18th of July. So for those of you in Southern California that do not participate through simulcasting and phone wagering, you're going to go through a little bit of a withdrawal there if you are doing it only live racing, because live racing returns in Southern California for thoroughbred racing at Del Mar, where the turf meets the surf, and it opens up on Friday the 18th of this month, which is 1 week from this coming Friday. Now, as far as Saratoga is concerned, all the the Belmont meets are done. Belmont Aqueduct, Belmont Saratoga, back Belmont Aqueduct, back Belmont Saratoga. It's all finally done. The Saratoga, the real summertime Saratoga meet, will open tomorrow. Tomorrow's opening day at Saratoga. And so at least we got that going for us anyhow. All right, taking a look at the wrap-up for the two meets that just ended. Los Alamitos, believe it or not, the field size grew from last year. Field size averages were 7.6 horses per race at Los Alamitos. And the top jockey who secured the title on closing day Sunday was Kazuchi Kimura. Kazuchi Kimura had 10 wins on the meet, so he gets the riding title, and he just won it by one. As far as the trainers are concerned, it came down to the last day. Peter Miller was trying to catch Steve Knapp. He had enough winners on closing day. He had a winner on closing day. They got him tied with Steve Knapp, but he couldn't go any further than that. So with just one win on closing day at Los Alamitos, Peter Miller tied Steve Knapp with 6 wins on the meet. Now, as far as Belmont at the Big A and Belmont at Saratoga, the spring-summer Belmont at Aqueduct meeting, Flavian Pratt won that with 43 winners. And Chad Brown won it for this was Pratt's first Belmont at Aqueduct, that summer meet there. It was his first win, Pratt's 43 wins. But Chad Brown, who won that meet as well with 27 winners, was winning his 34th overall NYRA training title there in New York. So Brown is, the man in New York, so to speak. Anyhow, that's the way that went. Now, as far as this weekend, the 4-day holiday 4th of July festival, the Belmont Festival at Saratoga, the 4-day deal, I'm going to tell you, they blew the socks off of the handle. The all-source handle for that 4 days completed at Saratoga, $83,634,479. All right? That was a 121% increase over the same 4-day period when they ran the 4-day racing over the July 4th at Aqueduct last year. So all I got to say is this could be starting a trend for the New York Racing Association. We'll wait and see. Of course, don't forget, when Belmont Park returns with that state-of-the-art multi-zillion-dollar facility they have there, people will come out on the 4th of July weekend there. So, but the all-sorts handle just blew it off the socks there at the 4th of July holiday weekend at Saratoga. Flavien Prat, we're looking going into Saratoga now. You know, Pratt just won the Belmont at Aqueduct Saratoga / meet, the spring-summer meet. Well, all I can say is remember what Pratt did last year at Saratoga proper. In 2024, last year, Pratt, had a Saratoga record as far as stakes wins. Remember, he was on that crazy stakes schedule, and he won 18 stakes races at Saratoga last summer. 14 of those were graded stakes races. Now, he didn't win the jockey title last year. Irad Ortiz Jr. won that with 52 winners, but Pratt won the quality races. And by the way, Pratt did rack up 45 wins overall last year. So keep that in mind as we move towards this year at the Saratoga meeting that starts tomorrow. And remember that Pratt, I think in the last week, about the last 10 days, I think, Pratt had 2 days that he had 5 winners apiece during that run at Belmont, Aqueduct, Belmont, Saratoga. So he's on a hot streak, and he goes into Saratoga sitting on that all-stakes record there at Saratoga. Just some of the things you got to look forward to at Saratoga. When we get to Jonathan Hardoon a little bit later on in the show, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the 2-year-olds coming up, because both at Del Mar and Saratoga, you know, these are the showcase 2 summer meets that the owners of all of these horses, especially the big-time owners that pay big prices for these 2-year-olds, want to win races at these meets. And so the top trainers with the high-priced yearlings that were bought through the yearling sales, these are the meets that highlight those 2-year-olds. And so when we get to Jonathan, we'll talk about some of the 2-year-olds that are heading towards Saratoga, and of course, the trainers that are prominent with 2-year-olds at Saratoga. So that'll be coming up with Jonathan Hardoon. Looking ahead to the Saratoga meeting, Mind Frame and Fierceness. Todd Pletcher is still, thinking about running both of those, owned by the Rapolis, in the same race in the Whitney on the 2nd of August. And White Abarrio will now join that group. So it's going to be White Abarrio, Mind Frame, and Fierceness possibles for the Whitney on August the 2nd. Just taking a look ahead at some of the great races that are coming up at Saratoga. Okay? So we'll take a look at that as far as that's concerned. And for the folks that we were talking about the new bill that was passed, that giant bill in Washington that was passed. And one of the provisions in that bill had the takeout, the withdrawals, or the on your tax form, what you can tax, what you can take as a deduction against your winnings used to be 100%. In other words, if you won $100,000, you can take right up to $100,000 of losses against that $100,000, so you wouldn't have to pay any taxes on those winnings. The new bill says it caps off at 90%, which means the same $100,000 that you would win, even if you lost $150,000 that year, you can only take $90,000 deduction up to the $100,000, which means you would have to pay taxes on the $10,000 difference. Well, that didn't work well in the racing industry, and certainly here in Las Vegas with the gaming industry, as far as slot machines and all the other stuff here. So our Nevada representative, Dina Titus, our Nevada representative in Washington, one of our Nevada representatives in Washington, Congresswoman Dina Titus, has now introduced a bill to repeal the gambling losses deductions limit and get the bill back to 100% from the 90% it's now. So that's working its way up in Washington now, trying to get it back to where it was. The bill has been proposed last week, and it is making its way through our beautiful government system, as you know. So they're trying to get that changed. By the way, that particular item doesn't kick in until next year's taxes, but she wants to get it done, and I don't blame her, as quickly as possible. I mean, if you lose more than 100,000, you hit for 100,000, you can only take 90. That's not fair. And so that's working its way through Congress as we speak. Okay, some of the other things that are happening here and around the country. I want to remind everybody that they say journalism is going to work out this weekend. And if journalism works out well, if his work works well, if he does a good job in his workout, they're satisfied with it, then he will be pointed towards the July 19th Haskell Stakes. Now, the Haskell is 1 week from Saturday. The 19th is 1 week from Saturday. So journalism may very well be going in the Haskell. We'll wait and see after that workout. That's for sure. And all I got to say is, as far as the, I was trying to get the NTRA poll. The new NTRA poll has a new leader on it. I'll get it for you in just a moment. But in the meantime, I want to remind everybody that on today's show, we're going to have Jonathan Hardoon. Rich Eng will be with us. Yeah, I think Richie's got a pick for us. If it's Wednesday, it means Dwayne Colucci will be with us from the Rampart. You'll be able to see all these guys, just not me, but them. That's okay. John Lender's going to stop by to chat a bit, and Jerry Jackowitz for maybe a gambling strategy for the upcoming Saratoga meeting. All right? And, of course, we have your racing menu coming up next. So without any further ado, let's just take a look quickly at what happened over the weekend. Wrap up Sunday both at Los Alamitos and at Saratoga. As far as Saratoga on closing day for the that 4-day holiday they had up there, we had 5 different jockeys win 2 races apiece over the 10 races. So 5 jockeys took care of all 10 races on closing day at Belmont at Saratoga, I should say, on Sunday. Jose Lezcano got his first win of the day in the first race with Tom Morley, paying $5.10. Manny Franco won a 2-year-old maiden race for Jeremiah Engelhardt, and the second race paying $4.90. Then you had Dylan Davis getting his first win of the day with Miguel Clement at $6.30. Ruben Silveira won the 4th race for his first win for Rudy Rodriguez, paying $15.20. And then, of course, that was the first 4 races, and then the doubles start happening. Jose Lezcano got his second win of the day in the 5th race for Linda Rice, paying $6.70. By the way, Linda Rice had a couple of wins as well. Santana won the 6th race, paying $18.40 for Horacio de Paz. Then you had Dylan Davis winning his second race in the 7th for Wesley Ward, paying $28.40. Jose Ortiz won his first of 2 races in the 8th race for Linda Rice's second win, paying $12.60. And Manny Franco, who won the second race, came back in the 9th for Ray Handel, paying $7.90. And Jose Ortiz, who won the 8th race, came back and won the 10th for Dick Dutrow, paying $23.60. I stand corrected. 4 jockeys had 2 wins. Mr. Silveira only had 1 win on the day, and Santana had the other one. Otherwise, those other 4 jockeys won the other 8 races in pairs. Nobody had the pick 6 on closing day at Belmont Saratoga, but you know they had to give it away. There was no carryover, so the 5s paid $4,497.50. They did pay 4 out of 5, by the way. 4 out of 5 in the pick six, paid $52.50. But the big whammy was the final 5 race pick 5 that had prices of $18.40, $28.40, $12.60, $7.90, and $23.60. That pick 5 paid $17,480.50. Not a good lick. Good lick there, boy. I'll tell you. Los Alamitos on closing day there. The handicappers did well at Los Al on Sunday. Every one of our handicappers had a winner at Los Al on Sunday. Rich Ang, John Lindo, and Bob Mazursky all landed on a horse in the 3rd race. And that horse, See Through It, with Tiago Piera aboard for Gennaro Vallejo, paid $3.60 as a bet down there. Jerry Jackwitz came in the 5th race with the winner with the horse that ran 2nd. So with the reverse, we gave him a reverse for that. His key horse, Halo Uncle, ran 2nd to one of his link-ups, Howbeit. And Howbeit paid $4 even for Peter Miller. The Dollar Exacta paid $8 even, so Jerry gets the reverse play there. And then Jonathan Nardoon in the 7th race came with the winner there, Day at the Track, for Wilfred Orientas and Ron Ellis, paying $5.80. So all of our handicappers came up with winners on the final day of Los Alamitos. The final day pick 6, by the way, paid $2,791.80. And finally, this note. In the Irish War Cry Stakes at Monmouth Park on Sunday, He's Pure Gold under Paco Lopez wins and pays $4 even. Here's the kicker. This particular horse won this particular race at Monmouth Park for the 5th year in a row. He's Pure Gold has won the Irish War Cry Stakes now after Sunday for 5 years in a row. That's amazing. And again, this race, the Irish War Cry, has only been in existence 7 years. And this horse has won it 5 in a row. Just a quick note there. All righty. We're going to go to our first break. When we come back, we'll give you a racing menu and then off with the handicappers. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. Looking ahead as far as the weather is concerned today, here in Las Vegas, it is already 90 degrees outside. We're going to get up to 112 today. So, as I say all the time, when we get to these temperatures that get over 110 degrees, stay hydrated. Keep a lot of water by and keep drinking water all day long, if you're going to be out and about. It'll be 112 today here in Las Vegas. And so stay hydrated. Make sure the kids and the pets are outdoors for a very brief time if they have to go outdoors at all today, especially during the hottest part of the day. And check on the elderly and people who have a hard time with the heat, okay? But stay hydrated. If you feel dehydrated, it'll be too late. So stay hydrated today, topping out at 112. But the hottest spot in the country today, again, as it always is most of the time, is Phoenix, Arizona. It's going to be 117 degrees, topping out today at Phoenix, Arizona. Wow. Miami 87, New York 90, which is pretty hot for New York, especially with that humidity. Chicago is 82. Los Angeles 90 degrees, and even other places hit the triple digits. That Billings, Montana is going to be 100 today. And Denver, Colorado is going to be 101. So we got a lot of heat going on here. And of course, as you may have heard, New Mexico had one of those bad floods the other day with the monsoon season as well there. So our thoughts are going out to all of those affected by the floods around the country. That's for sure. All righty. Let's get started with your racing menu. Reminding you the first post times we broadcast on the show each and every day reflect that of the Pacific time zone. So if you're listening here in Las Vegas, it's going to come out to the racebook today at South Point. These will be the first post times that roll out in the racebook. And if you're listening anywhere else in different time zones, adjust to whatever time zone you are from the Pacific time zone or to the Pacific time zone, wherever you're at, so you don't miss anything like I miss mom and dad, okay? First post times are Pacific. All right, we begin with Colonial Downs. It's underway at Colonial. Now, you know Colonial Downs is the place that's got all that turf racing going on. Okay? But for today, the turf races, there's only, I believe, three races that are scheduled for the turf today at Colonial Downs. They will be the 3rd, the 6th, and the 8th races. 8 races today at Colonial Downs. First post time is at 9:30. 9:30 at Colonial. Next comes Delaware Park. Delaware Park has the first post time today for their 8 races at 9:30 as well. And then Belterra Park. Belterra Park has a first post time for their 8 race card at 9:35. 9:35 at Belterra. Parks Racing. First post time is at 9:40 for their 10 races. Parks Racing's Pick 5 jackpot carryover, $319,735. You're going for a biggie there. That's the Pick 5 jackpot at Parks. First post time 9:40 for their 10 race card. Finger Lakes in upstate New York. Finger Lakes has 8 races, and their first post time at Finger Lakes is set at 10:15. 10:15 at Finger Lakes. And then, of course, Horseshoe, Indianapolis. 9 races. Last race will be a quarter horse race. The first 8 will be thoroughbreds. First post time at Horseshoe, Indianapolis is set at 11:10. Presque Isle Downs has just 8 races. 8 races today at Presque Isle Downs. First post time there is at 12:30. Penn National. Penn National has a small carryover today in their Pick 5, but it's a regular Pick 5. It's not a jackpot. Pick 5 carryover, $2,400 for the Pick 5 carryover at Penn National. First post time at Penn National today for 7 races set at 2:45. Canterbury Park will be the last one on the list today. 3 o'clock first post time at Canterbury Park for their 8 races at Canterbury. And that's your racing menu for today. And talking about Belterra Park, there is a horse right now in the country who has the best record of the year. Silent Rule is 5 for 5 this year and 9 for 9 career-wise. This horse is undefeated. Of course, all of her races have been in Ohio. Started with Belterra, Mahoning, and Thistledown. But this horse has a perfect record right now. 9 for 9, Silent Rule, 5 for 5 this year. So keep an eye on Silent Rule there in Ohio. All right, let's go out to Jonathan Hardoon right now. Jonathan, good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning, Ralph. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Don't I look good?
You look like a stiff.
That's exactly right. I am a stiff, that's for sure. In any case, all I got to say is I can't wait for Saratoga to start because there's going to be a lot of the good 2-year-olds, going to debut, and some of the ones that are already, had fantastic first-time starts out. That'll be back for sure for the 2-year-old stakes races, of course, the 2-year-old stakes races they have at Saratoga. But the trainers that seem to point for Saratoga with 2-year-olds and do well are guys like Wesley Ward, like I said, Saratoga for the 2-year-olds. Chad Brown last year in 2024 at Saratoga had 10 winners for 2-year-olds. His 2-year-olds won 10 races. Mark Cassie's 2-year-olds won 9. Todd Pletcher's won 7. Shug McGahee won 2. And Linda Rice even had 1 winner as far as 2-year-olds. But the 2-year-olds that we know of already before the Saratoga meet starts that have performed well and we're waiting to see the comeback are Wesley Ward's Outfielder. And then Steve Asmussen has Obliteration, who did just that in his last start. And, of course, we remember Ewing in his big debut win as well. Going to be a fun meet for 2-year-olds.
Well, first of all, tomorrow is the third official opening day at Saratoga this year. We've had it for Belmont weekend. We had it for July 4th weekend. And now tomorrow is actually the official opening. So it kind of loses some of its luster because, we've been there 3 times. It's like having Christmas Day at Santa Anita, and you have it 3 times before the year even ends. So that's a little disappointing, but that's the way it just worked out. As far as the stats you gave me on 2-year-old trainers, I'd be interested in knowing how many of those trainers win first out with 2-year-olds. That's a more important stat than, a lot of barns are loaded with 2-year-olds. So what's the big deal that they won 10 races? I want to know trainers that win first out. So you take a trainer like Jeremiah Engelhard, who had a winner on Sunday in the second race. He's stabled up here all year, and he points specifically for this meet. And he does very well with first-time starters. And there's a handful of trainers that do that. So the most important thing is you really want to know which one of these trainers win first out with 2-year-olds.
Well, now, wouldn't it almost stand to reason that a lot of these trainers in these maiden races will have horses that will be first-time starters? Not too many horses are going to have a race in a 2-year-old race that are high-end horses like from these trainers that
Obliteration had a race at Churchill Downs. You're going to have horses shipping in from Churchill that have already run as 2-year-olds, so
what
it's going to be a little.
Well, yeah. That's fine, but the stat that I gave is not first-time starting 2-year-olds. It's
Exactly. You just gave a stat for trainers. So Chad Brown has 150 horses. What's the big deal for him to win 10 races with 2-year-olds? It's not. Again, I think it's more important to find the trainers that have intentions of winning first out with 2-year-olds.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly. And guess who we're going to rely on to get that information?
That's what I'm here for, Ralph.
There you go. You're going to give us that information. Maybe as early as tomorrow. But as
soon as I have something to share, I certainly will share it with you and the listeners as well.
Good. And it's going to be fun to watch the 2-year-olds there. Of course, the same thing is going to happen at Del Mar when it opens up 1 week from Friday. And, everybody's going to be looking at Bob Baffert's rack of 2-year-olds, et cetera. But there are some trainers who like to win early there as well, because all of these owners that spend big bucks for these horses, when it gets to Del Mar in California and when it gets to Saratoga in New York, they want to bring all their friends out in the limousine and sit there and watch their expensive 2-year-olds, and they don't want to see them run up the track.
Yeah, it's not only 2-year-olds. You'd be surprised, Ralph. I have friends that have horses, and they can't wait to run at Del Mar, and the most important thing they could do is win a race at Del Mar.
Oh, yeah.
Even if they paid $50 for a horse, they'll drop them to $20 just to say we had a win at Del Mar. It's like a really big deal, and I get it. It's the time of year when people get to show off, I guess. They bring large crowds of people and guests to the track, and the most important thing for them is to get a win.
And the same holds true at Saratoga. They want to win race. People want to win races there. They point for those meets. The trainers do to keep their clientele happy. That's for sure. And it works out great for us horse players as well.
Pay attention, Ralph, to horses that are claimed. You're going to see a ton of claims, especially at Del Mar, because they have the ship and win program.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see a lot of claims there. You're going to see a lot of claims in New York as well. And that's interesting because horses coming from all over the country. So it kind of restocks the horses that they have there all year round. And I think that's good, certainly good for California, and it's good for New York as well.
This weekend had a lot of stakes races, both at Saratoga, at Saratoga, really. And who do you think got the top buyer over the weekend?
The top buyer over the weekend, I give up. Tell me.
The top buyer of the weekend was performed in Iowa, in the Iowa Derby. Magnitude got a 105 buyer for winning the Iowa Derby. Now, as far as, races that were held at the two major spots in Southern California and Saratoga, Phileas Fogg, who won the Suburban, got 104.
Oh, yeah.
That
was a pretty good claim, Ralph. They claimed that horse, and what a successful story that was.
Yeah, huh? And, another great successful story was Sweet Azteca, who won the Great Lady M last year in track record time, was a horse that they thought couldn't beat Copion, at least the bettors did, but she did. She went right out on the lead when the gate opened. She never looked back, and she broke her own course record with a new course record and beaten Copion, but she only got a 102 buyer. And the only other horse over the weekend that got over 100 was a 101 that Echo Sound established in the Victory Ride at Saratoga.
Yeah, that was a terrific ride by Juan Hernandez on Sharp Aztec. I mean, he won the race out of the gate, and then turning for home, he floated Copian wide. I don't know if it would have made a difference, but he was race riding all the way, and obviously that horse loves Los Al. And 2 years in a row, two amazing performances.
Yeah, she really does like that track. But I got to tell you, she was on go from the time they opened the gate. I mean, 4 jumps out of the gate, she cleared the field, and Copion was in chase mode. But Copion, was stalking and had every chance to get by if she could kick it in. But Sweet Azteca kicked it in another gear after floating wide, into the stretch. You know how long that stretch is, so Copion had plenty of time to just run her down, and she just couldn't do it. Sweet Azteca kicked in another gear and pulled away to win at the end. That was a very impressive win there, and we'll wait and see. All I can say is the NTRA poll came out for the horses, the NTRA weekly poll, and Mindframe is still on top. He got 264 votes. Sovereignty still second at 233. Raging Torrent is third. Fierceness is fourth. Torpedo Anna is fifth. And then the bottom 5 are Journalism, Sierra Leone, White Abarrio, She Feels Pretty, and Nisos rounds out the top 10 in the weekly NTRA Thoroughbred poll, top Thoroughbred poll.
Well, I don't know why Sovereignty isn't on top. I think Sovereignty should be on top personally, but that's just my opinion. All this horse did was win the 2 legs of the Triple Crown that he ran in, and he ran super before that in Florida. So what more could the horse possibly have done? But they have their own polls. However they do it. But nobody asked me because I would have voted for Sovereignty.
Well, and Mindframe got 264 points, and Sovereignty got 233. So Sovereignty was off by 31 points. But it's a matter of opinion. I think those polls most of all, and of course they ranked. I guess the points are 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 1. So whatever the case may be. It's a good fodder for a conversation.
It means nothing, honestly. It means absolutely nothing, to be honest with you. I don't think the gamblers care. Who cares? If you have a horse on the list, you care about it because you get to brag, I guess, a little bit.
Well,
but other than that, I don't think many people really care much about that poll.
All right. Well, there's no sense in talking about things that we don't care about anymore. So do you have anything else to say?
No, that's it, Ralph.
All right.
I'm tired. I don't like looking at you when you don't move.
Well, if you could see what I'm doing now, you wouldn't like it. But in any case, thanks a lot, Jonathan. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Opening it. By the way, if you're handicapping, there's a good chance that the track will be off. They are expecting rain for tomorrow. So
now, is it that monsoon type of rain or a real rainstorm coming through?
They just said rain. They didn't get specific, but rain is rain, and it's opening day, so I'm sure they'll be. They won't be leaving those races on the grass if there's a chance of rain. Because,
and any of the ladies are going out there with those fancy hats for opening day at Saratoga better bring an umbrella too. Thanks a lot, Jonathan.
See you tomorrow, Ralph. Thank you. Stay safe and be well.
All right, we're going to go right out now, right to. I want to go to Dwayne Colucci. Let's hold up the advertisement, and we'll just go right to Dwayne standing by at the Rampart, because Dwayne, you won't be able to see me because we're having problems with the cameras, but I see you, and so will the people. Good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
A little frozen.
Yes, I'm. It's a little cold in the studio here. It's certainly warm outside, though. That's for sure. I guess you're getting ready for Saratoga.
Yeah, I can't wait, definitely. And it's great to have John on site, because now you know that there could be the possibility of rain, and you could adjust your handicapping because, like I always stress, it's all about course conditions and, different scenarios. And you always want to be prepared, especially for Saratoga. But, Ralph, the weekend was phenomenal, like you guys spoke about. The return of Sweet Azteca was just monstrous. I mean, beautiful horse. Richie Baltus is going to do wonders with her. The Dutch horse there, Hangover Heaven. Keep an eye on that horse. 50,000 claimer. What a move. I rarely have seen a move like that. You have to go back to the days of Oscar Barrera and Peter Ferriola to see a horse just go from last to first instantaneously. And, Richard Dutro's capable of some magic things. So that was a race that left an impression. And Philly's Fog, like you said, just incredible. Kendrick got the most out of that horse.
Yeah, and like Jonathan said, a great story from the side where you can claim a horse and win some big races, and that certainly is the case with that one there. And, of course, as I said with Jonathan, we'll be looking forward to all of these precocious 2-year-olds going to be showing up both at Del Mar and at Saratoga.
Yeah, can't wait. I mean, Bob Baffert's going to have on the West Coast the deck stacked. Mike McCarthy's going to have a ton of nice horses, and guys like Yakteen, how the West Coast is. Baltus will have some, and the East is just going to be a plethora of 2-year-olds. We saw some great horses already come out, and we're going to see how they mature and gradually get to the big races in Saratoga, like the Hopeful and et cetera. So many big races for 2-year-olds, and the maiden purses are just so huge. And like you guys touched upon, you want to put your best stock there because Saratoga is so popular, and that's where you're in the limelight. And Todd Pletcher knows that, that Chad Brown knows that, and several other trainers that are just fabulous with the maidens. And, that's center stage. Saratoga is the best, and great to have this meet opening and Del Mar a week later.
Yeah, no question about that. But we'll kind of wait in anticipation for those meets. But there's betting, today. There's plenty of racetracks around that guys can venture into to make some money. And we know that when you come on the show, you'll usually find a pick for us, Dwayne.
Yeah, definitely, Ralph. We had a winner last week.
Yeah.
And won quite easily by 10 lengths. So I was happy with that. We're going to go to the well again. We're going to go to Mike Maker again, but early this Wednesday, the first race at Horseshoe, Indiana. I like the 6-horse Maker and Sons. Excellent work, 2 back there on June 24th. This is a lightly raced field. You do have a Cox entry that has a nice run and does have one under his belt, which always is an advantage, I feel, when you're dealing with these young maidens. But Mike Maker's horse, Maker and Sons, will be ready. He's got that, like I said, a bullet 47 and change, 2 back at Turfway, and he should be able to transpire this into a win. Looking at a 7-2, morning line, and Ramos in the saddle. So let's take a shot. First race, 7-2, Maker and Sons, Mike Maker. Let's see if he could get the job done with Ramos again.
Wonder if they named this horse after him.
It's quite possible. Let me see. I don't see him as the owner, but, some of these ownership groups are very loyal to their trainers. And, the trainer is the most hands-on and does most of the magic other than the jockeys.
Right.
So, yeah, probably.
All right, first race, 11:10. It goes 11:10 Pacific time. 2-year-old maidens going a mile. You like the 6. Maker and Sons. Let's make him a winner today, the 6th and the 1st at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. Don't forget, if you're in his part of the country, where the Rampart is at, you better go see Dwayne and the boys there at the Rampart Book. That'll be your first bad beat if you don't. Hey, thanks a lot, Dwayne.
Thanks, Ralph. Have a great day, and let's get ready for Saratoga tomorrow.
You got it, my man. We're all set and ready to go. All right, now we're going to go to Rich Ang, and then we'll go to a break. We're going to go to Rich Ang next, get him solid here. So, Richie, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ralphie, and that's a great portrait of you. Very nice.
Yeah, right. Well, it's probably better looking than what I look like this morning, that's for sure. Hey, Richie, I guess you can't wait for Saratoga and Del Mar to get underway, too.
Oh, absolutely. We got the boutique meets. We got Saratoga, and then we got Del Mar opening up on Friday, the 18th or 19th. But yeah, when those two go swinging, Ralph, we'll have long racing days. Saratoga starts like at 10 a.m. and Del Mar starts like at 2 p.m. And we'll have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with horse racing.
Yeah, and love every minute of it, that's for sure, at this time of the year. Certainly here in Las Vegas, it's a lot better to sit in a nice, comfortable race book playing the races than it is out there in the sweltering heat. Anyhow, Richie, you had a winner for us as well at Los Alamitos on Sunday. And so I know that you peruse all the time across the country to find horses. So what do you got for today?
Let's go to a nighttime track, Ralph. So the first race at Horseshoe was for Dwayne. I'm going to go to Canterbury Park, a nighttime signal, race number 3, 7 furlongs, optional claimer 30. The horse I like is number 1, Shirley Furious. This horse is 5-1 in the morning line, gets the meets leading rider, Harry Hernandez, who's winning. He's almost like the Paco Lopez of Canterbury, Ralph. He wins nearly 30%. But this horse last time out ran at Horseshoe, Indianapolis for optional claimer 60. Now is dropping that optional claimer 30. Good spot to rally. Harry Hernandez on the 1. Shirley Furious, race 3.
Nice 5-1 on the morning line, too, in that third race, number 1. Shirley Furious, we hope he is, the 1 in the third race at Canterbury Park. Their first post time is 3 p.m. Pacific time, so that race ought to go right around 4 o'clock Pacific time today. The third race, the 1 at Canterbury Park. And, of course, you'll be back doing your selections for Del Mar 1 week from Friday. And I'm sure you'll be perusing the country each and every day throughout the week until then for some picks here on the Race Day Show as well. So in the third race, you like the 1 at Canterbury Park. Hey, thanks a lot, Rich. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Yeah, I'll be doing simulcast sheets, plays of the day for Thursday through Sunday. So if anybody is interested, I'll be having simulcast plays of the day as a sheet instead of a track.
You got it, my man. Thanks so much. You let us know those simulcast selections, and we'll make sure we plug it here because you can get them at the racedaylasvegas.com websites. Thanks, Rich.
Hey, thanks, Rob. Good luck, everybody.
All right, now for our production crew. Yes, we are going to go to a break. And when we return, we'll have John Lindo and possibly even Jerry Jacobitz with us. Don't go away.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style Paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world.
The Race Day Las Vegas Show, the only exclusive daily local media racing information source in Las Vegas.
Alrighty, back on Race Day Las Vegas. Saratoga opens tomorrow with an opening day race, the De La Rose Stakes on tomorrow. And, of course, on Saturday and Sunday, there'll be stakes races as well. Saturday, a couple of stakes races, one Grade 1 and one Grade 2. Colonial Downs will have a couple, so will Woodbine, and Gulfstream Monmouth will have one stakes race each. And Canterbury Park's going to have 5 stakes races on Saturday. As far as Sunday, Saratoga comes back with a nice Grade 3. Monmouth and Woodbine will have stakes races as well. on this upcoming weekend. Now let's go out to John Lendo standing by in Southern California. John, I can see you. Good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. I tell you what, I enjoyed spending some time with you guys in the studio last week.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and the cameras worked last week, too.
They'll be back soon enough. In the meantime, you're still smiling.
I know. Yes, they will be back certainly by tomorrow. In any case, I know that we're waiting with anticipation for Del Mar, and of course, Saratoga kicks in tomorrow. As far as the Lindell report, though, what are you going to do for this upcoming week?
Strictly Saratoga this week, Ralph. Thursday through Sunday, the full card at Saratoga. And I was interested to hear John Hardoon say a little bit of rain coming. You know, that turf course, especially that inner course at Saratoga, was so fast over the weekend. They went 1.8 miles and 44 and change, 5.5 furlongs in under a minute. And it really wasn't fair to some of those deep closers. So we'll be paying close attention to see how a little water into that turf course changes the track profile.
Yeah, and let's hope that the rain gets in there and kind of, gets that turf course in just perfect condition. Don't want it soggy. We don't want it too fast because we just want it at a good pace for the safety of all. And, of course, coming up Saturday, Saratoga's got a couple of graded stakes races, the Grade 1 Duncan Diana and the Grade 2 Bowling Green, both on the green at Saratoga. So we'll wait and see about that for sure. Looking ahead to Del Mar, I would imagine that a lot of folks in Southern California are chomping at the bit, so to speak, to get that thing underway at the beach.
Well, the horsemen are waiting to come in. The San Diego County Fair closed on Sunday. They're moving the Ferris wheels and all the other stuff out of the fairgrounds right now. The barn area will open on Saturday, the 12th, and I think first workouts will be on next Wednesday, a week from today, and we get running next Friday. So it's a quick turnaround. These guys do an amazing job of getting that track ready to go. And I'll get out there Saturday morning and kind of take a look around, see how they're doing. And I can't wait to get out there for the live racing.
John, for all of us that have been at Del Mar and have worked over the racetrack for years in Southern California, realize that the Del Mar site itself, the land there, is, of course, the Del Mar Fairgrounds land, too. And so they do have the fairs and that stuff before the meet starts. But how much of the racetrack do they use during the fair?
Not too much. They will do some concerts where they will put a stage up on, in the stretch part of the main track. The turf course isn't touched. It's pristine. It looks really good right now. And, they'll use some of the barn area for some of the animals that they have to house. But in general, they leave the racetrack part of the fairgrounds alone because I know they're sitting right on top of that Del Mar summer meet. And
follow up on that, when we're looking at the workouts at Del Mar now, leading up to the races and the meet 1 week from Friday, because it hasn't been used and as with a lot of horses over the ground of the racetrack, is it usually faster times until the track gets baked in, or the other way around?
I don't even know if we'll have any workouts on these horses at Del Mar that run opening day because the track doesn't open for works until the Wednesday and they race on Friday. But usually that first weekend, that course is pretty pristine. It's got a nice cushion to it because a lot of horses have not been over it yet. So I would expect it to be the first few days, the last couple of years, it's been a very fair course. Times are fast, but they're not crazy fast. And that turf course is different from the Santa Anita, where you can really accelerate and see those horses with a turn of foot really do well on that turf course at Del Mar.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And I can't wait to get started there at Del Mar and at Saratoga tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of fun now as we get breakfast, lunch, and dinner playing races at two of the most popular racing meets anywhere at any time this year, any year really. When we come up with the summertime meets there. Well, John, all I can say is we have not been able to contact or get in contact with Jerry Jackowitz, so we'll wait and get him on tomorrow, as well as you. I'm sure that you'll have a pick for us at Saratoga on opening day as far as the races are concerned there. And It's just kind of like in a waiting pattern right now to get those two meets underway. But it's Saratoga starts tomorrow, and we'll be covering Saratoga with or without cameras. We'll be here covering Saratoga. Hey, you got a couple of plays today, one from Dwayne, one from Richie. And until tomorrow, since Jerry's not here, and since I'm frozen on the screen, John can say it. John, you have one more thing to say, my man.
Have a great race day, everybody.